So, welcome back. And we are now with Susanna Paes, my colleague from IRIS National Coordination Office as well. And she's responsible for, she's coordinating the IRIS Targeted Mobility Scheme in Portugal. So she will let you know a little bit about these supports that we can provide EU nationals. Susanna, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. So as Anna said, I will be presenting this European Union scheme. It's called IRIS Targeted Mobility Scheme. It's a long name, so we use TMS for short. This scheme is financed by the EU, and it was designed to help European citizens use their right to freedom movement across the EU. The objective is to increase the mobility within the EU by matching candidates with employers with hard-to-fill vacancies. This includes IRIS mobility services as well as several financial supports. So, who can benefit from these supports? We have the side of the job seekers and the side of the employers. So, job seekers and job changers, they have to be more than 18 years old. They may benefit from a variety of support measures, but they must comply with the following conditions. They have to be a citizen of a EU country, Norway or Iceland, or a long-term resident in one of these countries. You must be interested in moving to one of these countries for a job or a traineeship opportunity, but your qualification level is not relevant. Any level of qualification is allowed. Naturally, the job offers must comply with the national labor and social protection laws. They must ensure a salary and a minimum 6 months contract if we are talking about a regular job, or at least 3 months contract if it's a traineeship opportunity. As I explained before, employers may also be eligible for benefit of financial support. And in order to do so, they have to be legally established SMEs in the EU. SMEs means with less than 250 workers. They must be established in the EU, Norway or Iceland. I forgot to tell Norway and Iceland because they don't belong to the EU. They must be offering regular jobs for a minimum period of 6 months or traineeships for a minimum period of 3 months. SMEs may be businesses or other employment organizations. They can be NGOs, charities, etc., but with a staff up to 250 workers to get the financial benefit. Of course, all the IRIS services may be provided regardless of the size of the company. So, to help with the geographic coverage of the scheme, we prepared this red square. So to point out that job seekers, employers, or jobs in the UK, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, and third countries are not eligible for this support, okay? So talking about the financial benefits, this will be brief because there is a list, but I will try to be as brief and as efficient as possible. So the first one is the interview support. This will be granted whenever you have to travel more than 50 kilometers to attend the job interview. And the interview can take place in another EU country, Norway or Iceland, or even within your own country of residence, as long as it is connected to a recruitment for a job in another of the countries I mentioned. The financial support may go up to 660 euros, and this depends on the distance you traveled and the number of days you stay for the interview. There is also a daily subsistence allowance. This is paid for a maximum of 5 days, and it's to cover for local transports or other sundries. And please be aware that you must apply for these supports before traveling to the job interview. So if you find a job interview today and you are invited to go abroad, if it's in one of these countries, you may be eligible. The next support measure has to do about when you get an opportunity for a job or a traineeship and you decide to accept it and you are moving to a new country. So it's called the relocation and family support. I will explain briefly. So you may apply to this support that aims to cover for the first costs of travel and accommodation in your country of destination. This support is made in a single payment and it's a flat rate, and the flat rate varies according to the country of destination. The amount depends on this distance that you travel, but for Portugal, the support is 1,000 euros, and it's a single payment, as I already told you. And the same as the interview support, you must send your application before moving to Portugal or to any of the other countries I mentioned. In this case, if you applied for this relocation allowance and you are coming with some family members to Portugal, for example, they can also receive support. So family members can be the spouse or any dependent children, and they receive the same flat rate that you do as a single payment as well. So in case of Portugal, it's 1,000 euros. Next support measure is the language support. It's one of the major obstacles people face when moving to a new country is the language. So we included this, the European Commission included this. It's only granted if you are pre-selected or you found a job or a traineeship opportunity, or if you are in one of those occupations that we know the labor market in Europe. So if you have good chances of finding a job with sectors of hard to fill vacancies, and you agree to receive the help from the ERES network to find your job in the near future, you can also be eligible for this support. In this case, it's different from the previous one. It's not a flat rate, it's a reimbursement. So you have to choose your language course, and then you may be reimbursed of your actual declared costs up to 2,200 euros. But you need to get our previous authorization. So you have to submit your application well in advance and then wait for our approval. Another obstacle has to do with recognition. We had a presentation about this yesterday. So, and to get recognized, sometimes it's expensive. So when you need to get your academic or professional qualifications recognized in the new country, you may get the support to cover for these costs. It could be a free of charge competent authority even, but if you have costs with certified copies, translations, any administrative proceedings, you may be eligible for support. It's paid also as a flat rate of 440 euros, and you may apply only after you submit the recognition request to the competent authority in the country of destination. The next support is a supplementary trip allowance. This is for extraordinary expenses. It's very specific. It can cover for extraordinary expenses in the regarding an interview trip or a relocation trip. It's mostly intended for people with disabilities or for candidates that comes from a disadvantaged social or economic background, or if they have to travel for a long distance, for example, from our islands, Azores or Madeira, to the northern Norway regions, for example, it may be eligible. It's a case-to-case decision. Finally, if you're being offered a traineeship, that has to have a minimum duration of 3 months, like I told you. You may be entitled to a subsistence allowance. This is in order to top your traineeship salary that usually is below the normal employee salary. So if you can prove that your salary is lower than the one foreseen for a worker performing the same tasks as you, but you are receiving less, you can request this to compensate this difference. The maximum you can receive is 660 euros for a maximum period of 6 months. Just remember, to be able to get the TMS support, you cannot receive financial support from your employer or any other project or authority for the same purpose. This is to comply with the no double funding rule from the European Commission. Moving on to the financial support for employers. They can also benefit. They must be SMEs, and they have to offer an integration program to any of the candidates they recruit from abroad. The geographical scope is the same. Candidates must be coming from another EU country, Norway or Iceland. The financial support is a flat rate per recruited candidate and varies according to the type of integration program that the company receives, that the company gives, and the country where the company is located. This integration program may be basic or comprehensive, depending on the training and services they might offer to the newly recruited. In the case of companies located in Portugal, the support is between 1,060 euros and 1,320 euros, depending if it's basic or comprehensive. The difference is that the basic consists only of a training module that is job related, or if it's a language course without any administrative or settlement facilitation. The comprehensive integration program adds this settlement facilitation that eases the integration of the newly recruited into the new country. Examples of this may be you help find accommodation, you help candidates understand how to register in a new country, open a bank account. These types of administrative support are included. Moving on, now you know what it is, you know who it's for, and now when to apply. This is a golden rule. It's in the red square. You must always apply before the start of your mobility project, before you go to the interview trip, before you begin your language training, before you relocate to the new country or start your traineeship, and before the integration program, before the first day of work in your new job. This is for employers and for job seekers. What does the round things mean? This means that all the supports are interconnected. You can receive one or all. I can give you a small example. You are in this event today and you have a job interview online with the employer, but then he wants to see you in person. So you have to come to Portugal to come to the interview. You can apply for the interview support and then you get the job. They like you like the offer, you decide to move to Portugal, you apply for the relocation. But there's the need for a language course. You need to speak Portuguese to better integrate. You apply for the language course. And if one of your professions or one of your occupations needs recognition, and this can happen before interview, after relocation, before relocation, whenever, if you need recognition, you can also apply. So you can receive all the package. And the employer may be supported as well, okay? So ask your ERIS advisor. You must have a ERIS advisor to see you through all the process and explain what it means, and you can get the whole package. So how do you do this? I told you before, red square, search an ERIS advisor. This is a link for the ERIS portal where you can find our contacts, Portuguese ERIS advisors and from other countries. And the other information has to do with the way this support is organized. So the European Commission is the one responsible for managing the TMS, and the way it's implemented is by consortiums. And these consortiums are led by employment services together with other partners at EU level. Each consortium has a leader, and currently, after launching a call for proposals, the European Commission awarded 3 ERAS TMS projects, and they are run by 3 different countries, Sweden, Germany, and Italy. The support benefits are the same, regardless of the projects, and the geographical scope is also the same. So when you apply to the Swedish project, for example, this does not mean that you only have access to supports if you move to Sweden, and the same applies for the others. So the best way to proceed is to contact an ERAS advisor. You can use this link and they will see together with you which project is the best. The only thing that changes within the projects is the way you apply. So don't worry about this. It's just for you to understand, because if you see, and this is a screen of the European Commission website, you can see the flags on the right side, and you may be confused, what does this mean? It's about the projects, you don't have to worry about this. So the link on the bottom of the page is for the ERAS portal, where the TMS information is displayed. It's a general information, but this is for your information only. So this is the end of my presentation. The presentation will be made available, but if you want to know more about this mobility scheme, don't hesitate to contact us. I show you in this slide a dedicated mailbox for you to contact, or contact an ERAS advisor next to you. We will also be available. We are available right now in the chat on the TMS info point until the end of the event. So thank you for listening, and I'm waiting to see if there are any questions, Ana Margarida.
Yes, Susanna, even though probably some of them, I tried to answer, but just to make it clear, because you already mentioned it as well, but how to proceed for someone who is in Europe and they want to apply to these supports to come to Portugal, particularly. To whom should they be addressed? Whom should they contact? And how to proceed? Yeah.
Okay. So if you are in a country and you are aware of your ERAS services, you may contact directly your ERAS services and they will help you. But if you choose to come to Portugal, you can also use this TMS at efp.pt to contact us, and we will help you understand which is the better way that you are assisted by an ERAS advisor in your own country or by the Portuguese ERAS advisors.
Another question which, we need to clarify, it's very important, and then maybe it's an opportunity for us to give a note as well to other non-European citizens who are following the event. Indeed, regarding ERAS targeted mobility schemes, I'm afraid they're not eligible unless they were already having a long-term resident status, but maybe you can clarify this for everyone.
Yes, that's correct. So EU citizens EU citizens and Norway or Iceland, and then I'm sorry.
It's exactly that.
That's exactly what you said. They have to be long-term residents in a country. The main criteria is that they have to be living for 5 years in the country, but then there are other criteria. But this is the main one: 5 years resident in Portugal, for example. But you should really go to our section in the event about non-EU and get the clarification of what it means to be a long-term resident.
Yes, and I would also add a note, because of course we always have a lot of questions from the fact that non-EU nationals can register for this event. Indeed, one important thing that we are clarifying from the very beginning is you are welcome, but it will depend on the criticality of your skills and your qualifications for the employer, whether the employer will be willing to support you to come to Portugal. For instance, within research, sometimes your skills are very unique and could really they don't, or either they don't exist here, or they are very rare. And in this case, employers are really very much willing to support you in the coming, also because there are other tools in terms of immigration procedures for people who are coming to Europe within the research area. For other occupations, it's a bit more difficult, and the process is, and we had changes in legislation recently, so what will happen is that it will be more difficult for employers to go through your applications, also because while things are not completely clear, also for employers, it's difficult for them to assume the risk of hiring someone and then not being able to bring the person in due time to accomplish the tasks, to contribute to the company. This is the reason why. So I'm sorry to take this time, but I think it's important for the people who are watching the event. We are very much okay that you are with us and you get informed about the opportunities, but you must bear in mind that you will have to go through immigration procedures. Okay. And of course, if people are already living in Portugal and legally living in Portugal, of course, they are very welcome to apply. This is very important for you to know as well. Sorry about that, Susanna. I know
It was an
not
important
the focus of your presentation, but it is
yes.
important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Keep in touch.
And
we'll be in the chat waiting for you.
Exactly. In Chat with Employers, you will find IRIS Targeted Mobility Scheme. Feel free to join, bearing in mind that EU nationals are eligible for these supports. Okay. Thank you so much.